Hello fellow classers, it is KairosTime once again. Today we're going to be exploring the meta with another episode. What we're going to be talking about is things that we've seen more of, things we've seen less of as this most recent update has come out, and then also maybe some things that I'm expecting to see in the meta. It should be really exciting now, but before we do that, I did want to just say thank you so much for all of your wonderful support. We recently reached 2,000 subscribers on the channel, and that is just amazing to me. I've really appreciated all of your support. I'm going to be doing another Q&A video, another 1,000 subscriber video. I guess this is 2K subscribers. So we're gonna be doing that now. The one thing we're going to be doing different this time, of course, you feel free to ask me any questions that you have for me in my comment section below. I will, and maybe you might even just be, your question might be the one that gets right on the video. But in addition to that, you can also ask my wife any questions that you have about anything. Now, she doesn't play Clash Royale, but she's a huge supporter of me playing it, and it's a ton of fun. So feel free to ask her any questions. You can just ask to Lady Kairos, and then ask the question, and she would love to answer that. I'll be here. I'll have her recording, and it'll be a blast. So ask her questions, ask me questions, and we'll see what happens. Like the question if you see somebody else post it and you want it to be answered, and we'll anyways, we'll do that. So now let's go ahead and jump into this. So the most recent update, kind of crazy how Supercell just came out and just said, hey, we're just going to deal with these few cards right here really fast. And they didn't even, I mean, it looks like these were obvious choices that they wanted to change. And I was watching Yarn's video, and it sounds to me like they were planning on, they're still working on some other updates, but these were the primary ones that they really wanted to just handle right now while they were ready, and they're going to be doing some more balancing and testing and things like that later on. So that being said, of course, this is actually a challenge-winning replay that I did myself after the update with probably my favorite deck right now, my Expo Elixir Pump deck. It's so strong right now, and it just does such a good job at playing against so many of the common decks in here. Now, I'm not seeing a lot of Expo in the meta, so I mean, you can play around with it if you like. It's my favorite right now, simply because so few people are using it. It's not an overpowered deck, but it takes some skill in that. Allows you to really master it and just send your opponent for a crazy ride. So this is definitely a possibility. But you're seeing right here, we're playing against a giant deck. This deck is very much like decks that we saw in the previous meta before the update. And I guess I wanted to show this to you because you can see that the meta hasn't changed a whole lot yet. People are still kind of using the same decks. The Meta-Minion is still a great card, still very usable. In fact, a lot of people are using it, but it's not really the only option right now like it has been. So that being said, the Meta-Minion usable, not required in every deck like it was. In order to stay with the times, and so that's kind of interesting. Also, we've been seeing some more elixir pumps. Now, I was using the Elixir Pump in my Expo deck before the change, or the update, but the Elixir Pump is starting to get some real nice usage recently, and that's really cool. I like to see that it's back into the game. It's not an obvious choice. It's not like you're going to be doing in every single deck like you used to have to do in order to maintain your competitive edge, but you're still able to use it, and I mean, the Elixir Pump, it's great. We got it in here, we're using it. Now, we're also seeing a lot of Royal Giant Furnace, or even just regular Royal Giant decks. Here, I'm playing in the ladder above 4,000 trophies. I think that I was just about 200 or 200 trophies when I played this match. I don't remember, but, and here we are. The cool thing about the Royal Giant is that he's, well, maybe not cool. He can easily be over-leveled because he's a common. Right there, you saw me facing a level 12 Royal Giant. I don't even have a common ready, or I mean, I don't have a single common up to level 12 just because I am focusing on leveling up some other stuff up. Now, I could get my fire spirits up to level 12, but there's not really a huge advantage that you get with level 12 fire spirits like you get with a level 12 Royal Giant. That's what's making the Royal Giant such a strong deck in the meta. He's also being used in not only the ladder, but also in arenas or like challenges and tournaments and things like that. And I like that you can use him in those now and him be a pretty strong deck choice. But I do think he's being used a little too much in the ladder, at least where I'm at in the trophies, and so it'll be interesting to see what Supercell does to respond to the Royal Giant. Now, one thing that I thought was super interesting, well, first two things, two new Hog decks that we're starting to see in the meta right now. The first is the Trifecta deck. The Trifecta deck is making a comeback. For those of you that do not know what the Trifecta deck is, it is the Hog Rider, the Musketeer, and the Valkyrie. The three of them form the Trifecta that is so strong. It's a great combination, but with the introduction of the Meta-Minion before, Trifecta started to kind of die out and not be such a strong option because Meta-Minion did such a great job at countering. Well, and also because the Elixir Pump was removed, and the Elixir Pump was really what made the Trifecta such a great option because of its defensive abilities and ability to allow you to accrue more Elixir. Now that the Meta-Minion isn't quite as strong and the Elixir Collector is a usable option, Trifecta's coming back, and that's great. I played Trifecta for 3 months before finally switching to something else, and I just love the deck. I think it's a lot of fun. It takes some good skill, and I'm glad that it's back. That being said, we have another Hog Rider deck that is coming into play, and that is Hog Freeze. I haven't seen Hog Freeze be used very much for a very long time. It's been months. Hog Freeze was the win condition that I used before I jumped onto the Trifecta deck, and because of that, now that it's coming back, it's actually really powerful. But one thing that I thought was pretty cool is the usage of the Freeze Trifecta combination. Yes, we're seeing that. You can actually take a look in the top 100. I'm sure you'll see people using that combination. It's a really fun, strong one. I like using Freeze because it's such a commitment to play that Freeze, but if you do it right, you can get so much damage on the enemy's tower. So that's really cool. We're also seeing a lot of poison. A lot of those really beat down heavy decks like the Giant or even the Golem are starting to use poison now that it received a little bit of a buff. Poison does more damage than Fireball does, but it does it over an extended period of time. To me, that's about where poison should be. I don't know if it's too strong right now. I guess we'll see. We all remember the Goizen meta. It was so overpowered. Everybody and their dog was using it, and I'm not sure if I want it to come back quite to that, but it should be interesting to see whether or not poison becomes too powerful or just right. Honestly, if you were to ask me, I would love to see a huge damage reduction with the poison, and then include the slow that the poison used to have. If the poison had the slow and that poison reduction, then it would give it a very unique place into the game. Although that being said, it would be pretty cool if Supercell actually just added a slow spell. I think that would be fantastic. Maybe a 2 elixir card. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Another interesting thing is that we're seeing less spell bait in the meta, and that's kind of interesting because that was a really strong deck to be using, especially in tournaments, with the Goblin Barrel being maxed out at 4 and Zap being able to, well, really because not enough people were using enough spells in the decks that they needed. So it's the spell bait has definitely gone down, and we've been seeing less Golem. At least I haven't been seeing the Golem quite as much as we were seeing it before, and that's good to me. I like the Golem playstyle, but I think that it was a little bit too strong. We'll see exactly what happens. Anyways, everybody, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. I really appreciate all of your wonderful support. This is KairosTime ticking by, and we will see you in the arena.